have individually merged my bracketed photos. If you look down here at the bottom of my screen, you can see a series of images. Here's the here's the overexposed. Here, I believe, is the underexposed. I believe this is the as metered one, but what I'm looking for is the one that has this little symbol here showing that that is my HDR merged, okay? And you can see when you look at the name of the file, it's got the file name of one of the photos I merged together, HDR, then DNG for digital negative. Okay, so I'm going to select that one. Then I'm going to go to the next series of images, and I'm holding down my command key on the Mac. I'm sorry, I don't know what the version of command is on a PC. You could Google that. But that allows me to select non-sequential images. Okay, I'm going to go to the next set. Let's see, there's this one. This can be a little bit tricky. Here it is. Here's the next one. Looks like I've got two of that. Oh yeah, I remember I accidentally merged that one twice. So I'm just going to choose one of them. Go on to the next. I'm looking for that little symbol. Here it is. Okay, here's the next one. Let's see. Here's the next one. This was a lot of work, but it's going to pay off because I'm going to have a really nice, well-exposed panoramic shot. I took these pictures yesterday. I waited for the best time of day. I waited until about 7:30 at night. But unfortunately, the sky just wasn't all that interesting yesterday. I was lucky there wasn't a lot of wind, and so the water was nice and still. But I like it better when there are clouds in the sky that time of evening. But I didn't want to wait for ideal conditions to do this demo, so I just kind of worked with what I had. And fortunately, with the HDR merge, I'm gonna get a pretty decent picture. Okay, so here we go. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 8 or 9 photos. You know, you don't have to take as many as I took. I may have as many as 10 or 12 photos. I can't really count them right now. Hopefully it will work. This put a lot of strain on my computer, and I guess that's why it couldn't do the HDR merge and the panorama all at one time. So let's see what happens. We'll go to photo again, photo merge. This time I'm going to choose panorama. Okay, and this may take a little while. I'll probably have to pause the video. When I was trying to do this before, it took a good half hour to make the preview. One thing that I might recommend you do is close out any other programs that your computer is running, especially Photoshop, because Photoshop really, demands, oh darn it, it didn't like that. Okay, choose a different projection option. Let's try spherical and see what happens. Okay, but Photoshop draws a lot of memory on your computer, and Lightroom does as well. And when they're running at the same time, it can really slow things down. So I recommend you There we go. Wow, that didn't take long at all. Okay, so there's different projections. So notice that I've got auto crop clicked. I just want to show you what happens when you don't have auto crop clicked. Let me unclick it for a second. I did not use a tripod. Okay, if I had, I wouldn't have had all this ziggy zaggy stuff going on at the top and the bottom. And you know, I would have been able to hold my camera a little bit more, a lot more still. And so if you don't auto crop, you can always crop it in Lightroom manually, but you might as well go ahead and let it auto crop. And I'm quite happy with the exposure on this one. The one thing I am a little unhappy about is that because I was not holding my camera as still as I would have had I been using a tripod, I wouldn't have clipped off the top of this mountain, and I don't really like that clipped. I think probably what happened was as I was photographing, I was getting more and more interested in the reflections of the trees in the water, and I started to kind of ignore the mountain. But anyway, for the most part, I'm pretty happy with that, considering that you know the lighting conditions were okay, but not great. So you may try these other projection methods. I was trying them earlier and didn't see a whole lot of difference between them. For some reason, it didn't want me to use perspective, and I'm just going to stick with what works because I'm so glad that it worked so quickly. So I'm going to click merge now, and it may take a few minutes, but I should have that merged photo appear in my images down here. I'm not sure exactly where it's going to show up, but it's a little time consuming, but ultimately it's actually quite easy. So just to kind of recap on that, remember to hold your camera vertically. Use a tripod, ideally. Hold your hand really still if you don't. Overlap each photo by about a third. Okay, so on on this picture right here, I was moving from left to right. I would frame the next photo starting right about here. Okay, and it looks like it's going to take a few minutes to totally generate this this panoramic shot. I'll post a picture of it when it's done, so that you can see it. There's no reason for me to make this video any longer than it needs to be. So please give this a try. You've got the landscape project this week. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, you know, how easy it is to get something that looks really awesome.